So I don't know what to talk about today. But I felt like it was a good day to do a video anyway. So I just got done skating, and I am sitting in the parking lot because it seemed like a good time and place to do this. Skate was a little different today. I got my 5 miles in, but this time about 3 1/4 in. My niece was over at the playground with my parents, so I decided I should go visit them, because before I left the house she was really excited about she found out I was going to go skate at her school, and she wanted to go with me. It's like, well, I can't watch you if I'm skating, so somebody else would have to go with you. Before that, she was content with playing in my office, teaching the birds, as she likes to do, whether I'm in there or not. As long as she's not in my stuff, we're good. She's got a little desk that I let her use, and she's got her own chair, so it's no big deal most of the time. Every now and then she gets a little wild and you don't know what to expect from her, so but she found out I was coming over to her school and she wanted to come over here and play on the playground. So I started and got a little over 3 1/4 miles in, and then worked my way that way, because there's 3 schools in the area I skate at that are all connected in the parking lots, so it's real easy to get my mileage. So I wandered back over to where she was at, and she was all excited that I was there, so I got there about the same time her parents did to pick her up. And she was like, well, my parents had their 2 Shelties over there, so when I first got over there, kind of spooked the oldest one. She's 13 and doesn't see real well, and she's itty bitty, and you could see her jump and then try to go the other way. And then I started talking to her and got down on my knees so she wasn't freaking out, and she came over and was all sorts of friendly at that point. But then, since I was standing on my knees, Gracie came over, and she's like right in front of my face the whole time. It's like, why are you standing so close? You never stand this close to me. Yeah, but it was kind of funny. I was going to change my wheels before I started. I'm not sure. I have somewhere between 300 and 500 miles on these wheels. And so I ordered some new ones after I rotated them the first time. They started clicking and doing weird things, so it's like, I should probably just go ahead and get a new set. So I got a new set, and then I forgot that I was going to have to move the bearings and all sorts of fun stuff, so it's like, I'm not in the mood to do this before the skate, so we'll wait till after. The wheels that I ordered, I got purple and raspberry. Raspberry was supposed to be pink, but they sent me orange, and I was bummed because my skates, well, the pink would have worked better. But it didn't matter enough to send them back, because after I skate on them, like probably 3 or 4 days, they'll be all black and nothing exciting anyway. So I don't even know how long it took for my color to wear out of the other ones, but it wasn't real long. And they matched the skates that I started with. Yeah. But there's like, I don't know, it looks like some kind of heavy duty staple or something in one of them. But that wasn't the wheel that was clicking, so go figure. Yeah. Don't really know what I'm going to talk about at this point. It just seemed like a good time to do a video. There's like nobody over here, and it feels awesome. So yeah. And when I started skating again, as everybody was leaving, my parents stopped to say something as they were driving off, and I was like, yeah, I'll be home when I get there. So maybe they'll be chill, because they know my skate got interrupted, so I may or may not go back to it. I did for a while. I got my 5 miles in. I had thought that tomorrow would be a good day to attempt the 20, but I don't think that's gonna work out. For one, it's gonna be like, I think it'd be like 87 tomorrow, which not really that big of a deal. And if I come over here late enough, it's, not too bad anyway. But I guess we're doing my uncle's birthday party, cake and ice cream tomorrow at my grandparents' house. And before that, my niece has her dance recital. So of course I gotta go to that. So yeah, the hot was only a little part of it. It was like, maybe I don't want to do that right then. But yeah, I will do it. And it will be sometime in the next few weeks. I was trying to figure it up. It's like, well, if I can maintain my pace as I normally do, I usually get 5 miles in an hour. So that would be like 4 hours. And that's not terrible, but I mean, I'm definitely not above it. Yeah. Oh boy, there's always somebody coming to where I'm at. There's been nobody over here like most of the time that I've been here, and just now there's a truck pulling in, so I don't know. I don't know how long this will go anyway. Looks like maybe tennis courts, maybe walking, who knows. It is warm, so yeah, it is like 80 today. So if it's somebody with dogs, then they come over here later anyway, so theoretically. I walked mine earlier and it was pretty warm. It was short and sweet though. Yeah. I had thought about a few different things that I might talk about, but looks like tennis. I don't know. Now that I'm here talking, I'm not entirely sure that's the direction I want to go right now. Nobody said it had to be a real long video with lots of content, right? I don't even know what happened yesterday. Like, I started talking about good things that were going on, and then it got started on the puppy that my aunt and uncle are looking at getting. It was just this big spiral of things. And actually, that's something I could talk about. So, a lot of my cards that I've been pulling the past few months, a common theme is the spiral. And one of the cards that is specifically the spiral, it talks about how the healing process works like a spiral, because you go around and around and keep coming back to the same things and learning deeper truths to what it is you're experiencing. And there's another couple of cards that talk about it, not directly like that, but I think that's kind of one of those interesting things, because like, okay, I mentioned Stormy yesterday. I just like started crying on camera. It's like it just hit me all at once again. It's like, oh, I hate talking or thinking about that whole scenario, having to leave or having to take the dog back to the rescue just because of what was going on. It's like go from laughing and having a nice continuous discussion of whatever, just bouncing from things that make sense together as my mind works anyway. Yeah, but my head always works like the spiral because, as I talk about things, I talk in circles, and I've always noticed that, and always figured there was something more to that. But I think that's exactly it. It's the deeper you go, the more you learn, and getting to the that golden element of truth that you're seeking in it. Yeah. It's funny because, I say regularly that one of my big things all throughout my life has been that voice in my head telling me to use my voice and start speaking my truth. And now I'm realizing, as I've been going along on this, I've been realizing that the whole purpose is so I can understand things better, understand myself better, and get to the core of whatever keeps bringing me back to these points. And there's no way I can work through things without going around the spiral and continuously coming back to them, because that's how my mind works. That's how it works when I'm talking to people anyway. That's just a big part of me. Yeah. There's I think that, especially this whole healing process, I'm aware that most of the videos that I have done, I talk about a lot of the same things over and over again, but from different aspects of them and going deeper. And, I had a video back in November where my dad and I were fighting, and one of my first big teary moments on doing a video for YouTube was because I was all frustrated at the fact that was my life, and that was where I was at, and I was ready for something different, ready to do something different, go somewhere different, live a different life than the life that I have had to keep going back to. And there again, going back and revisiting things. Now the sun's moving down the tree trunk. And God, I've told those stories from different angles, told the divorce stories from different angles, and I feel like I spend a goofy amount of time randomly crying when I do videos. But I can't really say a whole lot about that one way or another, because that's kind of just part of who I am anyway. The videos that are the commercials with talking about the puppies and abused and blah blah blah. Sarah McLachlan playing Angel in the background. That stuff every single time. Anytime there's something with a lot of any kind of energy, my ex was really into basketball, so we would go to the Pacers games, and every single time, it's as soon as the national anthem started, I would tear up in the national anthem. And I think as I've been making these connections and looking back, I think that the whole energy susceptibility that I never really completely understood. I'm gonna find a different shade, I think. Now that I'm aware that I'm taking on all this other energy that's not mine, I feel like maybe I don't know that I'd be less affected by it, but maybe less likely to just randomly cry like I did before. And it was kind of funny because when I got my TBI after the ordeal at my annual training with the guard, when I tripped on a rock and my brain shut off. It wasn't even a real trip. It was just kick the rock and down I went. But like after that, that experience, falling in front of the NCOs, that one made me decide to go start talking to a neurologist and, get the testing that he said when I first, the doctor said I could. I didn't get referred to the neurologist right away. It was the annual training incident that made me get the referral to the neurologist. And when I was talking to him, I mentioned the tearing up at the national anthem. And, I took meds for that for a while. And now, I'm seeing that honestly, I think the TBI enhanced some of the stuff that was already happening. Look, got the moon in there. Okay. But I can't say that it necessarily made it. It wasn't obviously the start of it, because that was something that I did beforehand. But when I got the testing, and then I forget what it was, like pseudobulbar affect or something like that he called it. It was, essentially inappropriately timed emotions. It's like, oh, that's my life anyway. And realizing that it goes back to being affected by energy that's already there. Because we're all putting energy out into the world one way or another. And I've always been affected by stuff. And there was a time when I was I think I was in high school, where I got to this point where it was like I'd shut the emotions off completely and I couldn't cry, like even if I wanted to. Not that I ever wanted to, because I thought that was part of why everybody hated me, is because I couldn't control that kind of shit. And I don't know. Maybe not. But I don't really remember where I was going with that point. And the sun's moving again. I'm gonna try it this way. Nope, that's definitely not better. Yeah, but I had shut off the emotions, and that wasn't better. Because that took a while to undo and basically thaw that out. And maybe it seems like I do it a lot anymore, but I think what I'm learning with like my astrological placements and all that fun stuff is that it's just me, guys. And it's just something I do that's part of my life, one way or another. And I don't think that's a bad thing. Like, on my blog that I did the other day, I was talking about how I had this dream, and in it, somebody that, soul family, somebody approached me, and it was kind of weird because when I was revisiting this dream, it was, I don't know what's it. Okay, so I had this dream, and where it ended off, the dream was like in 2020, and then I thought back into it like in the past couple months. So we're in 2024. Might have just stepped on a 4-leaf clover. That'd be fabulous. Anyway, so not that way. When I started thinking back into it, like, I could put myself right back in the dream. So that was kind of weird. And then it seemed like it started becoming more and more interactive. And then I had somebody approach me because they had something they wanted to confess to me. And it made me start thinking that I think one of the things that I do, and I haven't even been actively aware of it, is that I'm somehow connecting with others' energies, and it's like it's something that I do as a means of witnessing the emotion and being able to purge it from, you witness, feel the feelings, and release them. And it's that process that helps those things get purged from the collective energy. So, yeah. Talked around in circles and took me a little while to get there, but I think that's the kind of the point of what I was going with this time. Yeah. So I think that's one of my big roles on this planet this time around, is I basically collect other people's pain at an energetic level and witness it for it to be released. And therefore, when I go to sporting events and the national anthem plays, there's a lot of energy behind that. However you feel about it one way or another, it still has a lot of energy that's already there, that's been put into the collective over all these years of everything. Yeah. So it's like, this is stuff that I've always done, and I always thought it was a problem before, and now I'm realizing, it's kind of a gift. And it seems probably sounds weird to call it a gift, but I think it is. And it makes more sense for why I was unable to recognize it for what it was sooner. Because that's kind of a weird thing to think that's happening. But like, I've always known that it's like, even when I haven't been able to know why I know things, there's always been more to what I've been feeling. And, okay, like I've talked about the bullies in high school and knowing that, like at least for the one guy, his dad didn't really seem to want to have anything to do with him. And despite the fact that he was making my life a living hell, I couldn't hate him because I felt what was going on underneath it. Even though I always knew I couldn't be mad at him, I didn't know why, but and then because I couldn't make that connection, I just internalized it, and it's like, well, something wrong with me. It kind of makes me think of the movie Encanto. I love that movie. And how, what's her name, Mirabelle, didn't have magic like her family did, and then at the end of it, and she's got like the biggest magic of all. It's like, I love this movie because I feel like I can relate to this so much. And even like with the sisters, I forget the strong one, her name, but the song that they have for her, it's like, I feel like this is kind of my mom's story to an extent, trying to be strong, trying to be whatever because she's the oldest of 3, and taking on basically all the anxiety that she witnessed and experienced from my grandpa and internalized, and it has become her own. And she's taken it and kept it very, very near and dear, her anxiety. But that doesn't, that's not a good thing either. The anxiety is no way to live. I know, I've been there. It's not fun. And it's, I can see various ways of how pretty much everybody in my family is dealing with anxiety to some degree, and it shows in the world at large too. It's kind of interesting being able to see it from zoomed in and zoomed out perspectives, like I'm starting to be able to. Like I mentioned a while back, that there was this like one thing where I saw it at the very personal level with something I was dealing with my dad and my brother, and then I could zoom it all the way out and see how like toxic church ideology played into it, and how that was an aspect of it. And then there was like this other this other person that came in and was just like the one that was trying to get me to relinquish my boundaries in some way. Nothing bad, but still asking me if I was too concerned about protecting my energy, and making me think about that, because it was like, there's this one that, like, that whole thing, I couldn't really care one way or another about that particular level, but then the level where I was fighting with my dad, and the level where I told my brother to fuck off because he got after me about, I had to think about what that scenario was again, about speaking up when I was trying to set boundaries with my dad, and then like, yeah, just seeing the different levels of how they all are a part of the exact same lesson. It's like, wow, that's that was a big one to figure that one out. Yeah. Anyway, that's half hour. A lot longer than I thought it would be when I started out not knowing what I was going to talk about. But I'm going to go home and I gotta fix my hair because we did it last night and we had to bleach it because there was so much of my roots showing, so it was like really bright where you can see it. But then this is like supposed to be like this mint green color, and it did not turn out like it was supposed to, and I had some stuff in my hair to try to keep it from being too dry when I was trying to comb it out, and my hair was breaking because of the bleach. Oops. And yeah, it needs work. Not that I want to redo anything, but then that I gotta fix that. Anyway, yeah. I didn't have to talk about that, but why not talk about everything else? So yeah, as always, I appreciate you whether you made it this far or not, and I will talk to you the next time.